thank you so much. We're here at RT Podcast. It's Isaiah Diesel here, joined with a very special guest, Mr. Sam.
How you doing?
Yeah. All right. Can you tell me first where we're at?
So we are in it's a pub called the Duke and Rye in Chichester, in
Duke and Rye,
southeast England, and it is basically it's a converted church. So this place was, in fact, we were hearing it from the barman earlier. It was.
I'm probably going to go to hell. I'm about to have a beer.
You carry on, man. So this, it was a church, and before that it was. Like they said it was. What did he say it was? I can't remember now. Like
a nightclub?
No. But like after it became a nightclub.
Oh,
and
that's
it became a bar.
There is right next door over here. Is the most insanely beautiful cathedral I've ever seen before in my life, honestly. So they said this used to be the living quarters here.
That's right. So the guys, the monks and stuff like that would live over here. And
wow.
And yeah, so since it's become a church.
You've been inside there, right?
Yeah, I've been in the cathedral.
Can you try to describe what that place looks like? Like outside and inside, right?
So, I mean, for people from the UK, like we see churches and old buildings like this all the time, so it's not a big deal
to you.
For you guys from like born in the US, I imagine it's incredible seeing something that's so
absolutely
old. Like it's an old church, it's an old big church basically. It is an incredible building, like it is absolutely insane. Like the architecture and everything like that is just, and you sort of have to think about what the world was like when it was built, and how that would have been the biggest building for miles around for a long time.
You know that. Wow, that's something I didn't really.
So the roads that come into Chichester, you tend to be able to sort of see the cathedral from whichever road you come in, because it's such a central thing for.
Right. So we're in. And I'm being very serious right telling you this. I've been to quite a few places now in England, and you really can't compare anything to London, as I told you. London's kind of in a league of its own, but all the places I've seen, this is by far the most amazing. I mean, I unfortunately arrived here too late. I can't show you like the central part because it's too dark.
Yeah.
But oh my, and I'll tell you what's funny. This is the funny thing about being in England, right? You see like this incredible building with this incredible facade on the outside, and you're like, oh, what is that? That must be something like special. Oh no, that's just a cafe. Right?
It's absolutely true. Like Chichester, it's an old Roman town, so so there's like town walls, the city walls, and they're obviously most places they've fallen down, but you can still like get in to see some bits of the city walls around the place. And there's a cafe just probably about 400 or 500 yards that way that has really similar sort of. I think it was like a cellar for the cathedral or something, sort of back to the cathedral, and that's just a cafe now.
Right, but like probably like 100 meters or about 300 yards from here, there's like a city center walkway that's like, oh my, you literally feel like you're like back in the medieval times.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? So.
Anyway, that being said, you want to tell the audience like where you and I met?
So we met on I'm not even sure the name of the group, but a Facebook group, and we met over that, and I probably was taking issue with the fact that you were trolling about atheism, saying atheism was a cult, which is one of your favourite things to say, and I basically said, what you're talking about, and took issue with that. But because of the respect that you've got, even though you were trolling in the first place, we sort of had a respectful discussion, and we sort of discovered that actually, this is a guy who is prepared to have an intellectual discussion, or a proper discussion about stuff, and we just sort of bounced off.
So I will tell you this funny story, because the guy who wrote the book, who I was basing that off of, actually just hit me up and like he lives in South Korea, and I wound up having several different talks and with him, and the video that I share a lot there, because I try to get it's like sensational, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sensational, and but anyway,
which by the way is fair enough, because it's social media, like so you've got to get your point over.
See, that's the thing I really hate. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be having civil conversations with people. Like, I don't care, you're atheist, Muslim, Jew. I love having conversations. I met people from all over the planet, you know what I mean? And it's cool, we could have to agree to disagree. That is the thing I really, really hate, is that the thing that gets people's attention is people are yelling, people are screaming. And that's one thing I really did vow with my podcast, is that I would not use that as like, I would not use just doing stuff just for the sake of, you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, when you've got the podcast, you're able to go into more depth, and you're able to be a little bit, you don't have to grab people's attention with that sensationalism, so you can have that proper discussion. So,
right.
But fair enough, in a Facebook group, like, I understand. I do get
but,
it.
but I mean, I will try this, yeah. So, you've seen some of the stuff that people say, like, as far as responding to people. It's just really disrespectful stuff. And I will tell you this, you gotta listen to this, because RHA podcast started in a bar, actually like a pizza parlor. To meet with an atheist guy, we sat down, we had a pizza, and he was with his family, we had a few beers, and I don't even mention God at all, man. We were just talking about our family, our lives, and we came to like each other, on a very personal level.
Yeah. Well, there's way more that connects us, like forget atheism or theism or whatever. There's way more that connects us than that divides us.
Right.
So that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a theist of whatever stripe or an atheist. Like, there's way more that connects us, and there's like the human experience that connects us. So there's way more.
Yeah, lost empathy. That's why empathy, RG, respect, humility, empathy. It's a huge part of it, And I will tell you this. One thing I've came to understand, like you lost a parent at an early age. I lost a parent at 25 years old. My mother, she died at that age. And it still stings. I'm sure the loss, you still feel it, but
it never goes away.
It becomes manageable. But I was 11 years older than you whenever you lost your parents. I know people who've never met their parents because they passed away. So that we might experience that at different times. We can't experience exactly what the other person feels. And that's actually a huge part on the third book I'm working on right now about racism, is understanding that empathy, the only person you could ever actually truly empathize with is yourself. Okay. Now, you can understand things from, I lost a parent, you lost a parent, right?
Her name's Joanne.
Well, I will never understand how that affected you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still don't know much about
another side of me, I could clone myself, for example, and I could have a conversation with myself, a subconscious, for example. But I would be able to understand, I would be able to have a conversation and know exactly what that person experienced.
Yeah.
I can't have that with you, you know what I mean? But I can say, we both know what it's like to be hurt, and so we can connect on that level.
I think that I haven't really thought of it like that before, but I think that's true. But it's down to the limitations of our language. We can only get across so well about, through what we can say. And I think we're never going to have a complete understanding of what someone else has gone through. We can try really hard, and we can really sympathise with what people say. But I think that empathy, maybe we can never empathise with anyone. I think that's an interesting way to look at it.
In my third, you're gonna have to read it in my third book. But I'm saying, that isn't a way to empathize with someone else, is understanding you are limited. And you and I was talking about how limited our perception is as far as, frequencies, decibels, and light waves. There's stuff flying around all around us, radio waves that we can't see or hear or pick up, you know what I mean? So we're picking up this very small amount. I mean, even going down here, this is my first time to visit this town. Like, would this town look like 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago? It might look totally different. And I'm getting to see it from a very small perspective right now, and I'm appreciating it. But had it been here 50 years ago, this place would have been completely different, where I'm sitting at right now. So this is all we're experiencing, is this current time.
Yeah, interesting way to sort of think about it. Like, this town would have been very different 50 years ago.
Right.
Like, because it wouldn't have had the high street has changed so much. In fact, the high street has changed so much in...
You talking about that area?
5 years. Yeah, so the town's got like a sort of crossroads in the middle of town. And
the circle, that's a circle?
So where the clock tower is, there's a little clock tower thing. Just we'll go back past that way before
it's amazing.
And 3 of the roads that branch off that are all sort of like high street roads, and they're all sort of, in the time that I've lived near this town, it's changed loads, because the high streets sort of dying really. There's not so many people buy stuff on the high street. So there's loads of shops that have got boarded up.
Right, especially because the age of internet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the guy who I'm staying with now down in Southampton, I went to his house and he just has all of these boxes of stuff that he's bought off of Amazon. So,
yeah. So Jeff Bezos has a lot to answer for.
Yeah. And actually, the guy in Birmingham, he literally has this sign that says, it's on his door and he says, Amazon packages like delivered to my bag. Like it's on his front door.
See, I try and not buy too much stuff from Amazon, but it's just so convenient.
Yeah.
That like it's Christmas in what are we on, like 2 weeks time, and there's people I haven't bought Christmas presents for. Probably going to end up buying them off Amazon Prime to get them delivered on time so I can give them to people for Christmas.
Convenience. And
I'd rather not. I'd rather buy stuff from people or from shops on the high street. But
see, and I live in America where the east side is like really run down, and I was always trying to put my money as much as I could on the east side. Rather than see a movie or buy something. The convenient thing to do would be to go to the west side, which is everything's nice, blissy, and But that's something I always wanted to do myself. Of course, I live in South Korea now, but there's a convenience. Like Wish, I buy stuff up there, or Amazon, and it's just the convenience of getting stuff quickly and cheaply, especially if you got to stretch your dollar. Like I personally don't like the idea of shopping at a Walmart, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, you only got $100. You got to make that thing stretch for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that's pretty much your best bet, right?
Well, we love convenience as well. Like, if I can spend more time sitting on my ass doing what I want to do, like playing video games, watching a movie, whatever, like we're always going to choose that because we are, we'd rather.
Let me ask you something. How long have you been in those groups for, like the atheist groups?
I don't know, probably 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. I wanted to. I've always been like, even though I'm atheist, agnostic, I've always been obsessed with why people believe in gods and why people are so why they believe it so strongly.
Yeah, I showed you. I got the tattoos like all the world religions here. I was obsessed with that idea right there, even as an atheist. Like, why would people go through such elaborate lengths to tell these stories?
Yeah.
To me, it spoke volumes about the state of humanity, of our subconsciousness and our culture, and just that we feel this desire to have some kind of purpose in the universe, to where we go through some kind of, whether it's worshiping a totem pole or a frog or a rock, or if you look at the stories of the mythologies, they're so elaborate.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think we are storytellers. Like as a species, we have this incredible brains that allow us to sort of think about things logically and all of this stuff. We are storytellers. The things that we do. Like if you look at the sort of book industry, if you look at the movie industry, TV industry, we want to tell stories and we want to have everything sort of explained through stories. And religion, to me, is just that. It's just a way of explaining the human condition, explaining what we are and what we try and want to be through a story. I don't think it's a true story, which is why I am an atheist. But that doesn't mean that the story has any less power or any less value. I think we need to appreciate the stories. We need to probably not take them literally, like a lot of people do. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, we love the story, and the story makes it more. We're more receptive to something if we're given in a story. If you give someone just like a load of information, they're not gonna necessarily understand it or want to engage with it. But tell it in a story.
See,
and that changes everything.
And see, that's the thing. Like Jesus told a lot of stories, and I could tell you something almost certainly. I can't say this beyond any reasonable doubt, but I don't think virtually any of the parables actually happened.
Right.
It doesn't change even one iota of whether or not there's value in behind what he was trying to tell behind that. So the only story in which parable that Jesus actually told, where he includes any kind of information where you could actually might conclude that maybe this actually happened, is in the Good Samaritan parable. Okay, and that actually Jesus talks about a man going down from. He goes into Jericho. He specifically mentions the place of Jericho. Okay, and I got to tell you this, as a Christian, I got to go into Jericho as an atheist. And the way that I was treated by those Muslims, I was treated with so much kindness, so much compassion, so much hospitality and care.
So much humanity.
So much humanity. Yeah, you know what? I write about this in my second book, but it's also my third book. But like, these guys were making they had a sense of humor. They were making even bathroom jokes. Like, for example, I'm not sure if you know this about Muslims, but like, it's really improper to touch someone's left hand because.
Right.
So I saw these guys. Let me give you left hand. He deliberately went out of his way to get his hand, and he went like he was kissing his hand, and the guy was like, no, but it was like kind of like a bathroom humor. There's no bathroom humor.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, literally, they did like this thing called the deep dish, deep pit. You ever had deep pit where you like bury you make like a fire underground and you bury the meat? You never. Okay.
I mean, I've heard of that as a way of cooking, but
well, anyway, it's amazing. It's called deep pit. But I did that. They put these baskets of like tomatoes, chicken,
tomatoes.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My apologies. Thank you for correcting me. Tomatoes. I'm sorry.
Remember where you
apologies.
are. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, and potatoes. Potatoes.
No, potatoes.
Potatoes. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, all this stuff,
Weird.
garlic.
Right.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is that they put it on there, and like you cover it, and then you put dirt over it, and then the guy like literally pretending to take a crap on it. And I was like so shocked to see that.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the guys like pushed him off of it. And they were just laughing. I thought, man, these guys are so human. I've gotten so desensitized.
But it's so easy to believe that people who we don't understand aren't human and aren't like us. And we think of all the differences between us.
Right.
Man, the similarities outweigh the differences hundred
Infinitely,
thousands to
right?
one, whatever. So, but interestingly about the left-handed thing. So in the UK we call left-handers, sometimes we call them cack-handers. Have you heard that?
No.
So cack-handers, cack meaning shit,
Yeah.
and cack because you would wipe your ass with your left hand.
Okay.
So that's your cack hand.
Oh,
So anyone who's a left-hander is
I
called a
get it.
cack-hander.
I mean, I listen to somebody. You listen to these like atheist talk shows, Colin.
Matt Dillahunty and people like
you know
that.
them.
I listen to a little bit, yeah. But
I actually got to talk to him a couple times online too. Yeah. Actually, you know, I'll tell you a funny story. I called into the Atheist Experience. Oh, this is going to get demonetized because of all this video, and I already know it right now. That's The Weeknd. You know The Weeknd?
the what?
The Weeknd.
Oh, is that these guys?
Yeah.
Not my
There's
sort of
no
music,
chance.
so.
No chance this is getting monetized at this point. Anyway.
Oh,
but
there's my fortune down the drain there.
okay. Yeah, this is a funny story though, because I called in, and abruptly the call ended, right?
Yeah.
And apparently the whole server just crashed. And so when I called back in, I was actually talking to Matt Dillahunty one-on-one, offline, and he's like, hey Isaiah, I'm sorry, our whole system just crashed. So if you like, you can call next week. And it was just crazy. I couldn't believe that it was just a one-on-one conversation like that. He says you and I are offline right now. Anyway, that's pretty cool.
What's your sort of opinion on him? Do you think he's fair? Obviously you don't share his. No?
No.
See, for me, everything he says is based on sort of logic and fairness. So people who disagree with him and he shoots them down, I always think, he's got a legit reason for shooting them down. So.
Well, I will say this. So, do you know who Aaron Ra is?
Yeah.
So when I called in there, I said, look, you guys have clearly turned a leaf as far as speaking with people respectfully. Because you guys, I mean, I've heard him fucking this, that. But anyway, he's like, effity this, effity that. And, you hanging up on people too.
Right.
Like to me,
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Go on.
yeah. Well, anyway, I said, hey, it sounds like you guys have turned over a new leaf. Turned off, I was totally wrong. It was like maybe the one off that they were being kind and respectful in their talks. But anyway, I've had now about 150 podcasts. There's only been one time that I've ever actually had to mute someone. That's because he would not stop interrupting me for about 40 straight seconds.
Yeah.
And finally, it's like the only thing I could do to just shut him up was to, mute him.
I think that's fair enough. Like,
But
for the value of a conversation, you've got to be able to sometimes just tell people, no, you're not talking for a moment. Like, that's fair enough.
how about this? We'll run this podcast until this beer runs out because I do got to catch a train out of here.
Yeah.
I got to get back to Southampton. So, is there a train that runs through here?
Yeah.
Chichester?
Yeah.
He said I said it wrong. Chichester.
Chichester.
What?
Chichester.
Chichester.
No.
And then he corrected me, and I'm like, hey, well, you know that there's an R at the end of right? Chester.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what letters are where. Like, the pronunciation can be completely
Chester.
different. Can be completely different. So.
That's what I like about it. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen Downton Abbey?
Like, I know of the program. I've probably seen like 5 minutes of about 6 or 7 different episodes. My girlfriend watches it,
Oh.
but I'm not interested. I'm a anti-royalist as well.
Oh, okay. So you've never seen The Crown?
Nope, never seen The Crown at all.
I don't know, it does mess
So
I won't watch it because I just think that
and then people like
the whole idea of a royal family is disgusting.
Oh, okay. Well, then can I get a bump on that?
that was actually
Like, you're totally wrong on the God issue, but I think we can find some common ground in there.
like, and then it
I'm glad we can find some common
Yeah,
ground.
exactly. Though I did say, man.
are more
So Westminster Abbey
Yeah.
is a church.
was there when
Am I right?
you were so young.
Is it a church?
That's a great question, and it's exactly the sort of thing that I should know.
Yeah, so you even think
Yes,
Okay, but-
I
like
think
your
so.
elders
That
be like that.
man there,
Do you know what I mean?
and oh my mother God, I will say this: Buckingham Palace. The videos do absolutely no justice to that place. Same thing, Westminster Abbey. That place is insane, man.
Yeah, incredible buildings, no doubt. Just inhabited by people who shouldn't be inhabiting it. That's my thing.
Right. So, how is that near the House of Parliament?
So Westminster Abbey is, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Have you ever done the London Eye thing, by the way?
Yes, London Eye. I did. It was pretty soon after it was built, I think. And yeah, I went up there and had a look around with my family. Incredible views.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I do want to ask you this, and closing up, like, what are your thoughts to how to navigate like conversations when you're disagreeing with someone, and maybe you're just from totally different perspectives?
just always try and be respectful. Like that's the thing. It's like,
RAG, respect.
yeah, like and like you say, humility and empathy as well. If you can appreciate that someone else's view might have been like they've been socialized in a completely different way, so they're going to come at things in a completely different way. You're going to have your views and they're going to have theirs, and if you just are always too wedded to your own views, then you're only going to dismiss what everyone else says.
Yeah.
If you can listen to what other people say, take it on board, even if you end up saying, I disagree, and that's not how I feel about things, that's great. But you just need to have that respect, because like we said, we're humans and we need to meet on that level.
And see, even in the humility, being honest in this, I could change that honesty as well, is that I don't always agree with myself. I've had almost all of my positions change at least once in my life.
Yeah.
And there's some days I would wake up with one position, and then some days wake up with the exact opposite position, and it's gone back forth and forth and forth and forth. And so that's why whenever I encounter someone who might have the position that I currently don't hold right now, I tend to have a little bit more of patience and understanding. Like, hey, that literally might be my position tomorrow. I might learn some information in a conversation or in a book or in a movie or in a documentary that might literally totally change my perspective. Like I'm dealing with this really small sliver of reality, and furthermore, I might gain information later on that's going to totally change my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
for me, like, that's the position I'm in now, and that's how I approach things now. You know, 4, 5, whatever years ago, like, I might not have been that way. Like I was a much more militant atheist in my views and the way I would interact with people. Like, even like I say, until sort of 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever. So I think it is something you learn more as you grow older and you know more people and you have more experience in life. So I'm not surprised people who are, you know, younger than us are so sort of strident with their views,
right.
and
The
aren't
younger,
willing to.
exactly.
I think
Yeah,
that's unusual.
What are you, 42?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 40. Almost 41.
Yeah. So
But who's counting? Who's counting?
We're approaching middle age if we're not.
Yeah, really. I know, and I look back at if I could go back and talk to my 21-year-old self, you know, not be so militant, not be so close-minded. My 21-year-old self had not seen the globe yet. I've seen the globe now. My 21-year-old was not a parent, was not a father, was not a husband. You know what I mean? Did not have the kind of responsibility, life experience. There's a lot of mental, intelligence, but there was like not a lot of real life. There's no EQ whatsoever.
Yeah.
None, no emotional intelligence whatsoever. A lot of head knowledge. But I think my real education has come from after college, after traveling the world, and I do want to say one thing. I do, not just because he bought me this really good hamburger, double burger. I asked for a regular hamburger, double bacon. It had bacon on it. Was that like smoked? I mean, it was really good bacon. But not just because of that. But I will say this. I want to get a little bit closer because I mean, this guy like. I'm not sure if you understand. Maybe you do understand trolling, like some like I've said some stuff in there that has been so absolutely outlandish that like if you took what I said seriously, the onus is on you. It's not on me because this is clearly meant as a joke. This is clearly meant as I'm just trolling. I'm having a little bit of fun. We're in a lockdown. Okay, we've been in a lockdown, and I can't go out and do all the stuff that I would normally like to do. But seriously though, on a serious note, you did keep me honest, and you did say, you told me one day, you said, I know you're better than this.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Massively egotistical on my part, but
no.
But in fairness, like I would say that I'd say that sort of thing to myself sometimes, though, because like sometimes I'm feeling like I'm having a good day and I'm feeling balanced and whatever, and like I'll see something that along the lines of what you're talking about put up, and I'll be just like, whoa, hang on, that's not a pleasant way to be discussing things. On another day when I've been pissed off with what's happened to me during the day, I might come along and say exactly the same thing. So I'm not trying to pretend I'm holier than thou. If you appreciate the expression.
Yeah, I do.
But, I know I come across as that sometimes. So,
No, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. And it's amazing we're meeting here in person, right? Like this is great because we've classed a couple times, and the thing is like, and I told you this, like when people started going after my daughter, it just turned into like I can't take these conversations seriously anymore. I can have a debate, and I can have a reasonable conversation, but there's just some certain lines you shouldn't cross. You shouldn't go after people's families, and you shouldn't attack someone, call them an idiot or this and that because you disagree with them. Maybe they have a valid point. That if you heard them out, maybe you might change your position. So that would be my.
People are always going to do that, though. People are always going to do. They're going to go for what they think can make an impact on you. So that's your family, your daughter, whatever. People will do that to try and get that reaction out of you. So.
By the way, this Foster's is dedicated to Chris down there in Australia.
It's kangaroo piss. I didn't tell him.
Kangaroo piss.
Not
no, this
fan.
is a joke. No, you don't even get this because. This is a joke because he's down in Australia, and I'm always trolling him.
Australians hate Fosters.
I know. That's the point, and I know that. That's the reason why I'm trolling. This is a troll to Chris down there. Props to you, Chris, because he's one of the guys you've seen there.
I was just gonna say I was trying to get him to drink cider because
I did.
So you did have a
I did.
cider. You did have a Thatcher's. Good boy.
Well, we're all done. Do you have any last thoughts before we close this out?
Nah, like it's just been a pleasure to meet you, man.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely, man.
It's been
really.
It's been a long time coming, and
Yeah, we've been interacting. I don't know, maybe the last year or so. And he's been the third atheist that I've met here in the UK. Met the guy down in Plymouth and the guy down in Southampton yesterday.
yeah,
You got to see that one. If you haven't seen the video, it's pretty hilarious. You got to see it because he came up with this brilliant idea to like troll the audience.
yeah. Well, don't spoil it for the
Yeah,
people.
okay, I'm not gonna
You've
spoil
got to
it,
go
so-
and watch it. Enjoy it.
That being said, this is RT Podcast. Isaiah Diesel here with Buddy Sam. Thanks again, man, and thanks for the beer and
My pleasure, dude. My
the
pleasure.
the burger.